people, I wanted to just jump on here really quickly and talk about the atrocity that is the hosting of the Carifta 2023 games going on in Bahamas right now. So there have been a lot of discrepancies and just idiosyncrasies that need to be ironed out in the hosting of this game. First of all, the hosts, I see from afar that they're not being good hosts. They're interviewing only their athletes, whether they place last, first, or in between. And they're ignoring winners and people from other countries that are doing really well and other people would want to see and hear from. That in itself is bad hosting, but also the camera people are focusing elsewhere. Even when these people who win the races are being interviewed, the camera people are focusing on other Bahamians, and this is really distasteful. And this is just smaller details in comparison to the fact that the commentators that are doing the representing on the international feed, they're not being fed with the relevant data, the relevant information. And so at times you'll hear them say, I think this is what is going on. I surmise that this is what is going on. I can see that maybe this is what's happening. This shouldn't be, not in a regional meet. It should be more professionally done. So people who are at these events should feed information to these commentators. Let's talk about the hot topic that's going on even today on the third day, where they're rerunning a 4x1 race. A race in which the Bahamian clearly false started or fell out of his blocks. According to the meet director, he had a shaky start. That's how he put it. The Bahamian had a shaky start. Other people had shaky starts before. For example, there was a Bahamian in a 200-meter race. She was given a red card. A Jamaican in a 100-meter race, who this Jamaican, by the way, was with a Trinidadian who false started, and the Jamaican fell out of his blocks, indicated to the starter that I can't hear anything, and he was still evicted from the race along with the Trinidadian. And if we're going to be fair, yes, all that was fair. But the fact that the Bahamian athlete who was starting the 4x1 was not taken out of the race, even though he had a shaky start, although everybody left him in the blocks and ran a whole 40, 50, 60 meters in this 4x1, they were called back.
Bahamian got left in the blocks and the race has been recalled. Wow. He twitched. The gun went. He expected a recall. It did not come, and he got stuck.
High pressure on these boys in front of the home crowd as well.
And the race was allowed to go on. It was completed. And then today, the third day, you hear that, Barbados, they lodged a complaint about the race, which I would too. It's fair that they shouldn't have been in the race. But the whole adjudication team decided, what we're going to do, instead of doing the right thing that should have been done at the beginning of the race, we're going to rerun a 4x1 with athletes that are in other events. That is quite distasteful. And I'm saying that because these are going to be the hosts of the 2024 World Relays. This is a bad picture. It is clear they need help. It is clear they're not equipped to host international events. They pulled out tape measures to measure jumps, to measure throws. It's 2023. Local meets in other countries are using technology to measure these things. This morning, in the morning session of the last day, day 3, today, there was a discrepancy in a long jump in the under 20 girls, where a Jamaican jumped her last jump, and they deemed it to be a foul jump.
When it's tight, play it like it's 0-0.
Yeah, the medalists have been decided, but Dejanay Bruce can still upgrade that bronze to silver or gold. This is her last attempt. Steady down the runway once again.
They had an iPad that they pulled out to show her, and by every indication, replays upon replays, and even to the young lady who was jumping, there was no discrepancy with the jump. She used the full board on the long jump, and they were saying it's a fault. It's a faulty jump. It's a red flag for her. She said, I don't see anything wrong with the jump. Measure the jump. This jump, by the way, would put her in third position and make it almost impossible for the Bahamian behind her to catch her in the bronze medal position. And this is a jump that all 5 or 6 officials from Barbados were saying is a foul jump. That's a little bit suspect to me, just me personally.
Now, the athlete can request that the mark be measured just in case there is a protest. So they are measuring the mark. I've still not seen a flag, so I don't know what the decision of the officials is. The fact that they are still there is suggesting to me that the officials are saying it's a foul.
They think it could be a foul. But from what we're seeing here, that looks clean.
It does.
A maximally perfect foot placement.
Yeah, from what we're seeing here, that is clean.
Great pictures.
Beautiful work, by the way, from our production team.
Great pictures.
Doesn't get much better than that.
Absolutely.
And now we await the distance. The mark has been measured. We are not sure what the measurement is. The Bahamian Lubin, she's waiting to take her next effort.
So a delay for her as she gets set to crank out a big effort to improve her standing.
And I guess she would want to know as well exactly what she is chasing. Now the coach, the Jamaican coach, Jeremy Delisa, he knows the rules. He's been here many times. He's been doing this for many, many years. And wow. Based on what we have seen, and I don't know if they are seeing something different from what we have seen, but based on what we have seen, I cannot understand why we're still here.
They're making sure, Ricardo.
And I guess this conversation has come up in football as well, that yes, you want to get the right decision, but how long is it going to take? It's 5.78 meters. That's the mark. Looks as if it has been given to Bruce. It doesn't improve her positioning. She remains in third position, but what it does for sure is make life a lot more difficult for Lanisha Lubin of the Bahamas. She now needs 5.79 meters to move into the medals, as opposed to what would have been 5.50.
These little things, these add up to huge discrepancies, add up to big things. I have a list of things here that I was saying, just writing down as I was watching from day one to today. The officials at trackside, they're using plain eyesight. And we know eyesight is faulty. We know there's human error. When you use the technology that indicates when you put that stick into the sand and it reads automatically and puts on a board what was jumped, that's more foolproof. You don't have to depend on 4, 5, 6 elderly people to come use their eyes and see what the jump is and put it on 2 cards over there for people to hold up for others to see. I have not seen that since the late 90s. In addition to how the Bahamians are handling the media coverage of this event, I have not seen such a level of bad sportsmanship, unaccommodating hosts, or such bias since the US hosted the 96 Olympics, or the US hosted track meets where they only interviewed their athletes, and everybody else's athletes, since they own the rights to the feeds coming out of the USA, their athletes were the only ones who got coverage. That's the last time, about a decade ago, that I've seen this, or more, 2 decades ago. And in 2023, this is really distasteful. In addition, let's talk about the absence of stretchers, EMTs, at this regional meet. Their efforts to take injured athletes off the track have been in wheelchairs that have they have no legs, they have no foot support to support the athletes who have injured their leg or so. There was one incident in the Class 1 1500 meter boys, men, where one athlete stepped off the track after the first 300 meters or so. He's
The Bahamas, Raywin Winder also stepping into the mix, finding he wants a piece of the excitement. That's 175 from Bermuda, Kazai Sealy. For Guyana, Blatchick is still close to him. Down the home stretch they come. Sealy on the outside, Ainsley Campbell on the inside. The Jamaican fights down the home stretch.
stepped off the track holding his chest. And while these boys ran the next 2 laps, nobody attended to this young man laying on his back, holding his chest this entire time. At the end of the race is when I saw somebody wheeling him off, gasping for air, after a 1500 meter was run. This should not happen. These are people's children. This should not happen. That's bad sportsmanship. This should not happen. It's carelessness. You're dealing with people's lives. EMTs should be on hand. I haven't seen anybody in an EMT shirt or EMS shirt since this whole track meet has started. I've only seen the attendants wheeling people around. This is unacceptable. And if you're really going to be the hosts of the World Relays next year, there has to be better. The IAAF has to step in and say, do you have these things at hand? Because if you're inviting somebody to your house, you should at least have somewhere for them to sit. You should at least have cups for them to drink out of. And the IAAF should make sure that these things are available before they give people the right to host these kinds of meet. I want to thank you for joining us on this channel one more time. Come back, SPJ Squad, support us, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I want to know what you think in the comment section. Jamaicans, Caribbean people, let me know what your thoughts are on the hosting of this Carifta game. Maybe it's just me and I'm seeing things. Let me know what you think.
Back.